yummy. That's a lot of shredded cheese. Take a bath in that. The Cowboys have a lot of needs. They rank 30th in the NFL in yards per rush.
That's
so a
bad.
running back would help, right? They rank 24th in pass block win rate. So they could use some offensive line help. And they rank 20th in explosive catches in the passing game. So a big play receiver wouldn't hurt. Jerry Jones spoke to the media yesterday about how Dallas is trying to fix some of these holes.
It has impressed me with the depth that there is in some of these positions, and we're not just thinking that because they're at that 12 spot. We had no idea that Michael Parsons would drop down there to us when he did, and so it do happen. And we certainly are not going to knowingly let a great player run through us for strategy or for trades up or down. But I hope to hell that I'm sitting there listening to all of this, sat in on all the meetings, been in all the stuff, and I hope that we come up with the very best decision.
Adam, what are you hearing about the Cowboys' draft plans?
I think that they would love to find an offensive weapon if they could at wide receiver somewhere. It would be an ideal scenario for this team. I think people also recognize they could decide to upgrade the offensive line. They're going to need a cornerback at some point in this draft with all the uncertainty facing their current group of cornerbacks. So there are a lot of ways that this can go. You heard Jerry Jones talk there about the fact that they're not going to let a great player slip past them. And again, there are so many similarities between so many of these players. It will depend on who's there, but I think some people would not be surprised to see a wide receiver or an offensive lineman.
Yeah, it makes sense. Mina, what do you think the Cowboys should do with the 12th pick?
I'm going wide receiver at 12. And if Tedero McMillan, the receiver out of Arizona, is there, I am running in that pick because I think he is a perfect fit for what they need based on his skill sets. It goes so well with the Cowboys. Starting with the hands, this is calling cards. Y'all know I hate the goal line fade. I don't hate it if you're 6'4" and you come back to the football the way this kid does. You see it all the time on the back shoulder throws, which are all over his tape as well. He's not passive about it. He comes back, he attacks it, he uses his big frame to box out DBs. Yards after the catch, so he's not a burner, but he's surprisingly smooth with the ball in his hands. You see some of the stop-start ability over the middle of the field. He's shifty. He's elusive for that size. Again, on the in-breaker coming up next against New Mexico, watch how fluid he is as he avoids contact to catch football, avoids DB, then accelerates upfield. This is why he was third amongst all college receivers, in missed tackles forced. Finally, body control.
Hooper.
So good at halting his momentum, staying on his feet. Again, with the back shoulder here, you're going to watch his feet as he stays in bounds. He's got great sideline awareness. So many catches like this on his tape. The body control stands out. So I highlight these tapes because if he's in Dallas, if he's in Dallas, this guy's going to see a lot of one-on-ones with CeeDee Lamb. And as you saw there, he has the ability to take advantage of those one-on-ones.
MK, I love it. I mean,
what?
To my eye, okay? If I'm Dallas, just hear me out, guys.
Okay.
I'm trying to see whatever I can do to get up to get Travis Hunter.
Whoa.
Like if I'm Dallas, I'm trying to figure out whatever I can do to get up to Travis Hunter. And it's because not because you feel a need on both sides of the ball. Whatever position you want him to play, like at receiver, I would be great with him being a 2, not my 1 right now, right? Opposite of CeeDee Lamb. But you think about Trayvon and his injuries at cornerback. You think about what he could do for that defense with him and Michael Parsons being on the same side, and you build that way, all right? Now, that's my shocker for the draft. But I would absolutely explore to see if I could get up there, especially, like, I know Cleveland and New York want to take the best player at 2 and 3. I don't think Cleveland would shun away from going 12, and maybe they do take a quarterback if they get that pick from the Dallas Cowboys.
What would they have to give up, RC?
Everything. A lot. They have to give up everything.
First-round pick.
You have to give up everything because now you're not only in this draft getting the second pick, moving up from 12, you're getting the best football player. And if I'm Cleveland and Andrew Berry, I make you pay for that.
I get confused with the Cowboys in the offensive line conversation. I think their group was just young last year.
I totally
it's going to go Guyton, Smith, Cooper, Beebe, probably Brock Hoffman.
Yep.
Beebe was good.
That group of 4 was Hoffman. So, like, I don't see offensive line. Right tackle we can have a conversation about. I just don't think you rush that. It's wide receiver for me, and it's not close. I think the Cowboys are going to be an improved football team. I think they can be a playoff contending football team, but not unless they get a number 2 viable wide receiver.
By the way, look at Mel Kiper Jr.'s highest-rated defensive players on his big board. His top 3 players in the draft are all defenders: Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Mason Graham. Jalen Walker is his 4th at 10th best overall, followed by Will Johnson at 11. Those are his only defenders in his top 16 players. So, Marcus, who on this list do you think will translate well at the next level?
Yeah, I watched this kid a while, and I talked to Mina about him. I think Mason Graham, but it has to be the right situation. I don't think you can put him on the D-line and say you become the catalyst as to why we're good. But if you surround him with another defensive tackle like he had Grant at Michigan and give him the freedom to make plays and get those one-on-ones, you will get some pocket pushing presence. Here you see a push-pull technique. I love D linemen that can do this. It shows strength, but it also shows the ability to flip your hips. And y'all know how big I am on hips. Pause. All right, second, tight space. Tight space. Being able to sift through traffic and pullers and keep your eyes where they need to be. This was a phenomenal play that he made in this game as well. And when you look at the activity, right, like one other thing that's becoming, MK, you're going to remember this conversation. Last year, we were watching the D-line, because MK, like, in her heart of hearts, she like 3.
She's a D-lineman.
She like 6'3", 315. Remember when I said, Mina, I'm telling you right now, Braden Fisk's going to be an animal.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right? And we wasn't really looking at him as one of those. That's
similar,
it.
yeah.
Girl.
First off, you know that brain ain't going to forget nothing.
So to Mason Graham's credit, like, it's, for me, I'm so used to, like, when I look at a guy and you say, all right, he about to be a top 10 guy, I'm looking for eye-popping plays. I'm looking for him to dominate games, like, over and over and over again. He made a lot of plays, but it wasn't the Jalen Carters. It wasn't the Ndamukong Suhs. It wasn't any of those guys. His activity goes from 1 to 4, though. And I think there's a lot of value in how your first snap looks and how your last snap looks, especially on the defensive line. And he has that.
Ooh, I get to talk about my draft crush. Ryan knows who this is. Jahad Campbell. Oh, my God. Oh, the linebacker out of Alabama. I think he has everything it takes tools-wise to be one of them elite linebackers in the NFL. The athleticism is the first thing I'll point out. True sideline-to-sideline range. The closing speed, pops. He's got tremendous wingspan, and it shows up in zone coverage. He's always getting in passing lanes, interfering with the ball. And then he's a good pass rusher, too. Explosive first step. I believe he started as a pass rusher. Now, there's things he can improve upon. I think he's got to play a tick faster to the run, gets fooled a little bit by misdirection, but that will come in the NFL. Look, he might fall because he had the surgery and there's injuries and whatnot. I'm telling you, a few years down the road, if he falls, we're going to look back on him and say, how on earth did he fall? You're giving me a fist bump out.
I'm about to give you some comparisons when I watched him. Derek from Texas years ago.
I know you're talking about. I played with his brother. What's Derek's last name? I can't remember. We'll find
all right. Anyway, him and Thomas Davis is what I got from
Thomas Davis
from
is a good one.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Like those came to mind when I watched.
I think the other thing outside for Jahad will be the ability to move from the line of scrimmage into the second level, being able to play in sub packages as well. I think that's huge. But for me, I don't necessarily think that this guy has star written all over him, but you want him to, and that's Nick Emanwari from South Carolina. When you look at the measurables, everything says Derwin James, but it's not that sort of play when you watch the film. And you could see the way they tried to utilize him here. You're going to see him drop into the pocket, right? He's going to drop into the second level. He's fooled by the play action. Right now, he's going to turn and locate the curl. Once he locates the curl, he's going to get his eyes back to the quarterbacks. Now you're going to see that 6'3" frame. You're going to see that catch radius, that ability to go up and get the football. And now when he's most impressive is when he has the ball in his hands. There's plays against LSU. There's plays against Oklahoma. And this touchdown against Duke where he seems like the best athlete on the field. This is where he has to get better to me. You're going to see now he's going to drop into the box. He's going to play the run. Watch him close. He has to go right now, though. He has to go right now, cut that space, because you aren't tackling these elite level running backs waiting on them. I do love this. This is the top coverage. We're going to get the press guy who's going to take the guy off of the line of scrimmage. And now you're going to see inside out man-to-man coverage on the wide receiver. Watch the way he slips underneath. And again, you see that lift. All of these things are so tantalizing. But we have to have more consistency from him. But it's going to be plays like that that make someone draft him in the first round.
Derek Johnson.
Don't be mad at me, DJ.
That's exactly what it was.
That's my guy.
Dan Orlovsky, shout out to him. He texted the group chat, helping us out, Dan. All right, let's get to some of the stellar tight ends in this class, too, because it's really a fun tight end class. Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland, just 2 of just 4 tight ends to catch 100 passes in the last 2 seasons. Remarkable. They do it all over the field, too. Both had over 45 catches from the slot. They even caught passes when lined up wide. So, Dan, how do you believe teams are handling the evaluation of these 2 guys when trying to decide who's the top tight end?
Yeah, you got to expect both of them to be around top 15 picks. I love Tyler Warren. He's Trey McBride to me. Get him the football as many times as you can. Loveland, a little bit like Sam Laporta in regards. Bears, Colts. I wanted to ask you, is Miami in the conversation at all for them? Denver, the Chargers trying to get up? Where do those teams stand for both those guys?
We haven't had 2 tight ends drafted in the top 10 since 1973. I think that's a possibility.
Top 10.
Tomorrow night. Top 10. I think both of them. You're looking at this wide receiver class, and the talent is not where it was last year, where we had Neighbors and Adunze and, of course, Marvin Harrison. There's just not that talent. So these teams, if you're looking at playmakers, these might be your top 2 playmakers outside of Hunter and Genty. All those teams make sense. Then you start thinking about the connection.
Yeah.
Well, Chargers,
Loveland, Harbaugh.
Can he trade up?
Right.
Okay, well, then you also say, oh, wait, well, then we look at the different teams and what they can do for Warren. I think both of these guys are viewed very highly. Different players, though.
Do teams have Warren 1, Loveland 2, or Loveland 1 for some other teams?
Great question. They differ.
Really?
And I had one very
Style
good offensive coordinator tell me, my gosh, why is everyone talking about Warren? Why is Loveland not getting that love? Yes, there are teams that have Loveland above Warren. I would expect Warren to go first, but tomorrow, as any draft is, all it takes is one, and I think both of these guys can go high, and they could go in the top 10.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either one, right? And still...
Nhìn cái người đã thì thổ lộ mà mình buồn. Chào chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng bằng hạt nhựa. Bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu làm nhé.
Nói chuyện với khách hàng để ra tiền, nói chuyện với kéo này.
Khéo nghe.
Không khéo, phải học phải khéo.
Cái kiểu người á. Thôi chẳng nói.
Cái kiểu người ấy.
Cái kiểu người làm gì chán đấy thì khéo ở đâu. Mà tập làm quen thì quen thế nào được.
Thì đấy là ngày hót ra tiền á.
Hót ra tiền á. Ai cũng làm được dễ thế thì ai cũng giàu. Nói chuyện cụt đầu cụt đuôi, nói toàn nói khúc giữa xong não ai nảy số nhanh lắm thì cũng hiểu được một phần.
Nói như thế không hiểu, não kém thế. Em đây phải nói chuyện với thằng Luân ấy, Luân Biker đầu ngõ này, thằng đấy mới nói chuyện như gọi là đọc chưa mà không hiểu một cái gì luôn.
Em không tin anh Tuấn nhà em đi làm cái đấy làm được nhé. Nhưng mà nhìn như giám đốc.
Nhìn như bọn đàn ông. Đấy còn bọn đấy còn phải quần vải, giày tây, áo sơ mi. Còn đấy mà.
Đấy không phải là em chê, không phải là anh nhà mà em chê, nhưng mà nếu mà làm được như thế thì đã không lêu lỏng suốt ngày như thế này. Cần nhảy nhót bao nhiêu cái loại nghề rồi chứ không phải là không đâu. Như con chim trích. Biết đâu, ăn nè.
Đấy là nghề chưa học, chưa. Người ta bảo gì?
Nghề chọn người chứ người không chọn nghề. Nghe.
Như thế bây giờ tự nhiên là đi làm cái này thì ấy sao?
Anh chưa đi học. Em thèm luôn làm cái này mà nó ra tiền hơn. Em hôm nào cũng phải ra đây em túc trực 24 trên 24 cho em tiền suốt. Nếu mà là chưa em mới chở hát. Là trước em giới thiệu cho cái chị á, mặc dù là không đến đâu, mới chỉ giới thiệu được Facebook các kiểu hai người cái bạn nhau thôi. Cho em tiền ăn này ăn kia kinh lắm, biết nịnh lắm. Xong đùng một phát chị đấy lấy chồng, chị đấy có người yêu nhưng mà chị không bảo. phát chị đi lấy, thế là từ đấy trở đi em thấy em móm luôn, không xin được cái gì nữa.
Giới thiệu cho người như thế người ta lại may là em không đánh được là chị
Thế là bọn bố xuống ăn cơm.